Hey, how y'all doing? Just back here at Hayburn White where this waterfall just drops into the sea. So this video is for the people that have a job or a career that also want to be successful. And I'm going to ask the question, how long should you stay in your job, right? And how much experience do you need? Well, so firstly, it's important to remember that whilst everyone can start a business and everyone wants to create a business, or a lot of people do, and it's kind of pushed upon you. Not everyone should or is actually cut out to create a business. And I think it's absolutely fine if you're in a career and you're progressing, as long as you get what you want out of it. I've worked in the corporate world and it worked for me for many years. I just always had it in me and always wanted to create a business. So how long should you stay in your job, right? So I always remember when I first started in one particular corporate business, a colleague there said to me, "Oh, I've got 30 years experience. I've been here for 30 years." And my intuition at the time pricked up and I thought, well, that's, to me, I thought that's not experience. That's the only thing that's experience of is being sat in that same chair for 30 years. That's not real experience. And if you think about it, if you're in a job for sort of 20, 30 years, yes, you'll get good at that job, but what really are you getting good at? Sitting in that chair, pressing a few keys on a keyboard or whatever the job might be, you get good at that particular job. Experience is, well, if you think about the word, it is experience in many things, isn't it? In many different scenarios, many different lives, and that might be moving companies, changing careers, different roles, progressing through the ranks in terms of seniority. All of those things are experience. Sitting in the same seat, doing the same job for 20, 30 years is not what I'd call experience. I worked for a construction company and the guy who started it was very successful. He's very smart, right? And he was a joiner, right, by trade, but he was really smart, very business savvy. And he taught me a few lessons. And I always remember one thing he told me. He said, I was about to leave the company, right? And he said to me, well, you can leave, but if you stay, we'll do this for you. But the one thing that stuck in my mind is he said, once you've been in a job for 2 years, you pretty much understand 90% of it, right? There isn't really much change beyond there, and that always stuck with me. And I always thought, what is the optimum time to stay in a job, one particular job, whether I don't mean move company, I mean that particular role. And I think it's around about 5 years max, because if you take the situation where the colleague, when I worked in the corporate world, said he'd been in the same job for 30 years, you're not really, once you've been there for sort of 5 years, you're not going to really learn that much after that. And I'm just going to throw up a diagram now because I've got a theory on this, right? And I think if you learn 90% of a job in 2 years, right, the experience, okay, maybe for the next sort of up to about 5 years, you're probably going to get most of it, right? And the curve of learning starts tailing off. So you look at this diagram. If you get to 5 years, yes, if you carry on for another 5 years, you may learn more, but it's not going to be at the rate of growth and learning that you did in your first 5 years. So what's the better thing to do? Well, so if you sidestep and move to a different company, right, you'll get a bigger spike of growth again because you'll learn new things. But what would be even better is if you did a completely different role. And a lot of people fear this because they think that, I must niche down and I must get better at one particular role, and starting again in a new career is like going backwards. And it is to a degree, right? Because obviously you could drop money and things like this, but a job's a job. It's like, you're never going to get any more money than you need to make you come back. So I would argue you should go bold here, and you can stay within the same industry but switch role. And what happens, right? Look at this on the diagram. If you move after 5 years, you get a new spike of growth of learning, right? And then if you move again, you get another spike of growth of learning, and you can just keep doing this and your learning will rise. So if you compare that to 30 years in the same job, or even 10, 20 years in the same job, as you can see on the diagram here, your learning is not going to be as much as if you keep changing career. And a good way to do this, so speaking to a few guys about this in terms of they're currently in jobs and they actually have aspirations of starting a company. And I told them my story and how I did it, because I was sort of in the golden handcuffs, which is like, you know, where you're getting a decent salary and a decent package. And you know, I'd worked my way up in the corporate world. I was on good money, supposedly, at least I thought it was. But I was trapped and it was scary to make the jump. But I did. I went self-employed, and I remember after that first week of doing it, I got paid, like after about 2 weeks, more money than I'd had in a whole month for a week. And I was like, I didn't look back. That were it. Gone. All my fears went away the minute I got paid, right? And I realised that it was more risky for me at the time to remain employed than it was to take matters into my own hands and take my own accountability on my shoulders, and all the risk was actually less risky. So if you look at this again, so what I've been speaking to with these guys who want to move from an employed position to eventually a business, there may be 4 steps in it. The first step, and we can look at this back on the diagram, the first step is get 5 years experience in a job. The next step, get 5 years experience as a self-employed contractor. The next step, get 5 years experience as, let's say, a business owner in the service sector, let's say as a consultant or something like this. And then the next 5 years and beyond are creating products, things that are scalable beyond, like when we talk about leverage, beyond leveraging people, things like leveraging technology, like software. So you could do this in 4 steps, in 4 5-year blocks, get to your eventual goal. And you'll have developed all of the life experiences and also, obviously, many benefits, including lifestyle, and money might be one of them, but it doesn't have to be. It may just be a better life because you're living it on your terms, you're working for yourself, or even if you remain in a job and you get a better job, you've got better terms and things. And let's just talk about some of the, you know, for the people that are working and you intend to stay in their careers, there are some careers where you don't need to start your own business. If you think sales, particularly sales where you've got accountability, you know, where you're not paid a salary, where you're paid maybe a basic and it's basically on commission. Financial services, things like financial advisors are based on the portfolio that they manage and they get according to that. Legal, law, things like this, you know, you can get paid based on your clients. And many other roles really, where you get paid based on your results rather than a sort of flat salary. There are many careers that are worth it. Anything, you know, where you're taking accountability. So if you're in like a sales job or something like that, it's a fantastic opportunity. You don't actually need your own business. If you're really good, you can bet on yourself, you've got accountability, you can do it. But the main message of this video is you don't have to stay in the same role, nor should you beyond 5 years, maybe 10 at the most. But I wouldn't. Personally, after 5 years, I'd be looking to gather new skills in a new role, whether that be in the same company, self-employed, business, moving company, whatever that might be. Always think in them 5-year blocks, right? Let me know what you think, whether you think 5 years is too long, too short. I mean, I think 2 years is okay, but once you go below 2 years, it starts looking bad on your CV. You start looking like you've got no commitment and, you know, you've not even given something, a particular role, the opportunity to really maximize it. So yeah, that's why I think 5 years is a good thing. And don't think that there's any loyalty, you know, jobs are not what they were, you know, maybe a few decades ago, you know, our parents, they all worked at one particular factory or one plant for life. And they did very well out of it, but that's not the case today. Employers have no loyalty. You should be loyal to yourself, to your own learning, your own development. We want to respect the companies that we work for, but be thankful that we're there. But we're there to get what we need out of it, right? And once we're no longer getting what we need out of it, it's okay to make a change for your own personal growth. And that's a good thing. You know, everyone's different. Some people are just happy. I guess this video, if you're listening to it, that's not you. So let me know what you think in the comments, and hope you like the video. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and see you all next time.